Every Spider-Man ever. Amazing Spider-Man number 10. The Big Man is a new masked criminal in town, and he's making Spider-Man look like a fool. He wants to take over all the gangs in New York and attacks them with his enforcers. There's Fancy Dan, fast and a master of judo, Ox, big and powerful, and Montana, an expert with a lasso. Big Man has already outsmarted Spidey today, and he'll do the same for any gang leader who doesn't stay in line. Unaware of all this, Peter Parker is in hospital, donating his blood for a transfusion for Aunt May, and weakened because of it. Therefore, it's a terrible time for Big Man's gangs to be attacking New York. The police are trying to keep it under control, but can only arrest small-time crooks. With his city under siege, J. Jonah Jameson tasks his star reporter, Frederick Foswell, to write an article that proves that Spider-Man is the Big Man, apparently learning nothing after accusing him of being Electro last issue. And outside of his bugle, the enforcers are shaking down Betty Brant for money that she borrowed from a loan shark, even after she paid it back. Peter Parker jumps in to help, but can't reveal his Spider-Man-ness. Instead, he gets beat up and lets them get away. But he quickly follows as Spider-Man, tracks them down and beats them up. But he has to escape the fight when his endurance fails him due to his recent blood loss. As he flees, he also notices J. Jonah Jameson on the street below. Could he be the Big Man? At home, Peter tries calling Betty to apologize for being beaten up, but she refuses to talk to him and leaves town. The next day, Peter uses himself as bait. At school, he talks about knowing the Big Man's identity and is quickly kidnapped by the enforcers. In a cell, he changes into Spidey and escapes, finding himself in the middle of a meeting of mob bosses. He fights them all, avoiding lassos from Montana, tires from Ox, and the judo mastery of Fancy Dan, but he's outnumbered and cornered, so he uses his spider signal on his belt to grab the attention of the police. They break up the meeting and the Big Man gets away. Hoping to capture the person he thinks is the Big Man, Spidey swings to the Daily Bugle and finds Jonah with Foswell. A policeman comes into the office to arrest the Big Man, and Spider-Man is proved right up until it's Frederick Foswell that's arrested. Later, alone, Jonah monologues to himself about why he really hates Spider-Man. That Spider-Man reminds Jonah of everything that he isn't, just by existing and doing good. Meanwhile, his enemy Spider-Man is worried about the missing Betty, and the missing Betty sits in a chair alone and cries. She has to face something alone. I mean, Spider-Man can help, but how would she ever reach him?